GarzaPodcast. Today we've actually got a pretty stellar in-studio guest playing in town tonight, so we figured we'd try to steal him away for a little bit and get him in studio. Prior to getting to him, if you haven't subscribed and done all of that regular shit that you're told to do, please do so. It helps the channel tremendously. Make sure you go back, check out other episodes. Help support the channel. Share this shit with your friends. Today I'm going to be co-hosted once again with my buddy Jason. Jason, if you want to introduce yourself quick, please.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellsworth here. Been with this guy for many years. We play in Angerot, we play in Empty Throne, we play in Suffer together. So we're death metal veterans here in Sioux Falls. So thanks for having me. Look forward to this awesome interview.
Awesome. All right. So anyways, today, thanks Jay for joining me. We are joined by Matt McGachy from Cryptopsy. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Very happy to be here. Happy to not be in the dirty backstage for once before a show. Enjoying clean facilities, hypothetically, after this chat.
Yeah, I covered up all my penis drawings on the wall.
I know, I'm disappointed, but I'll leave one. You'll find it like in 3 weeks.
Perfect. Awesome. So how's everything going so far to this point? Good?
We're great. We're 2 weeks in. Tours are always stressful. We just dropped a brand new record in June, An Insatiable Violence. It's our first time coming to the States and performing some of the material. We crafted a interesting set list, which has a lot of new songs in it, which is a ballsy, risky move. And we were stressed about that. And then learning a bunch of new material, Cryptopsy material, is a lot of work too for everyone. So we were stressed leading into it. We're about 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. We're more than halfway through now. When you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you're like, oh, I really have to start appreciating these things. Because in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be back home and I'm going to miss these moments, as opposed to the opposite that happens when we're gone. Right. But it's going well. We're having a great time. The tour package is amazing. Cognitive guys are fantastic. Shout out to Rob. He's a wonderful, wonderful human, and I'm happy to be with him every day. The last 10 seconds of life are super chill, more of deathcore vibe, but it creates this interesting atmosphere during the night, having a bit of variety on a package. And then, of course, we're sharing a tour bus and hanging out every night with Nile, which is just incredible. It's so much fun. Carl, George, the new addition of Adam on bass and vocals is just fits like a glove. And Zach is super cool too.
Right. Good deal. You never know what you're going to get. You've done it.
No, I know you never know. Yeah.
Sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes there's that guy. So, well,
maybe it's me.
Maybe it is. So we are.
We're drinking beer because of me. I appreciate that.
It's something I guess you have to do when Matt's around. So
yes,
I stopped and picked up a bunch of things. What do you got there?
I was just at Soleil a few days ago, so I'm drinking their Soleil Mosh Pit Juicy Pale Ale. Shout out to Josh and the rest of the Soleil crew for taking good care of us the other day.
Awesome. What do you have, Jay?
I've got Brow Brothers Oktoberfest Marzen Lager, and it's quite delicious, I must add. So
I have a sour. I love sours. Something I got hooked on when I had the brewery, and our brewer was really good at sours.
Nice.
And I got into the fruited sours, and then they seemed like everywhere you went, you could get one. And then now
it petered off a bit.
Big time. Yeah. And it sucks. But so everybody knows I love rainbows. So I got Rainbow Raid.
Oh,
nice. So what is in there? What's the fruit?
It just says rainbow candy sour.
Okay.
So
it's all that fruit puree. There was a shortage of raspberries. That's why there's less fruited sours now.
Well, that is really good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening, people. See you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
So the first time I saw Cryptopsy, I just want to tell this really quickly, was 1998. Obviously, you weren't in the band yet. But
Mike DeSalvo era.
Yeah. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because the package was Cryptopsy, Nile, Gorguts, and Oppressor.
Wow.
And that was at 7th Street Entry in Minneapolis.
That's amazing.
That was 1998. And then my old band Fall played Milwaukee Metalfest in 1998.
Is that the time when Flo almost passed out?
I'm not sure, but here's the thing: is we played 2 slots before Cryptopsy. It went my band, Gorgasm, Cryptopsy internal bleeding.
Wow.
And I don't remember that, but is
They
it
might have been 99 because I got Flo. We were just on the Jasta show, or the episode's going to come out eventually there.
Mhm.
And I got Flo to talk about his memories of Milwaukee because Jamie rehashed it recently,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Shout out to Jamie. Obviously, everyone owes you a sandwich. It might be in 99 that he passed out, though. I think they got signed in 98 from Century Media. I feel like that's what happened. And then the year after was when it was just too hot.
Okay. So do we
Mike DeSalvo came
Yeah.
out the other night and
Did
did
he?
Phobofile with us on stage.
Sweet.
It was really, really awesome to have. It's too bad we're not playing any Mike DeSalvo era songs because then he could have done that. But
Right.
Phobofile was just as good, I think.
He was 3 albums, is that right?
He did 2 albums. Yeah. Whisper Supremacy and Then You'll Beg.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was 3. Okay. I'm gonna need to clear something up. What looking you up? Were you born in 83 or 88?
No, it's fucked up. Yeah, Google thinks I'm younger than I am. I was born in 83, so
Okay.
I'm 42 years old. I'm sorry, Google.
He's like 37.
I wish, but no.
Because I'm thinking if it was 88, you were born the same year that the infancy
band
of Cryptopsy.
Oh, see, that would make sense. I should just say that.
Yeah, that was.
Forget I take it back. I was
existed.
born in 88.
There you go.
Exactly as necrosis was formed,
Exactly.
so was my embryo
All right. So
in my
80
mother's womb.
1983 it is then. All right. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
And
It was
then you-
great to see Mike the other night. It's the best thing about Cryptopsy and how we, the vocalists mainly, and a lot of the old members, we stay tight and in contact.
That's awesome.
Lord Worm came out, or Dan came out we launched this beer last April from a killer brewery in Montreal called Will's Beer. They're doing a collab with Mutoid, which is a very metal brewery in Montreal. And Worm came out, hung out with us, took pictures with fans, took pictures with us. Doesn't have to do that.
Right.
He's the man.
That's great. I mean, it's so often just not the case.
There's always a lot of turmoil sometimes,
Yeah.
and it takes time for wounds to heal. But
Right. And
we've done that.
good,
Yeah.
good. Because it's kind of sad. I mean, when they don't heal, and you see situations, and even take Cannibal Corpse for example, and it just seems like there's constantly something. It's like
who doesn't want to have a 6 Feet Cannibal tour?
I know.
Everyone would go to that. I want to go to that.
I 100% would go to that.
Absolutely.
I think it will come eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully time heals more wounds.
Right. Because I do think it would be great. And I think too, I have never personally met Chris Barnes.
I have not either.
And he seems like, I'm friends with Jack, pretty good friends with Jack. So, had the conversation about a lot of this stuff. And I think, he's more humble than what
him on the GarzaPodcast is the best thing I've seen in a long time.
Great insight to I think who he really is.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the beauty of if there's anything that I think has helped the extreme music industry, right? In modern times, is probably podcasting because it's so easy to just assume everybody's a dickhead. That goes all the way down to the Glenn Bentons of the world.
Exactly. And then you saw him on the Garza podcast, and he was super fucking chill too.
Just another dude, and I think when it comes
to
the
lore, in the modern era of extreme music or music in general, there's far less lore and mystical stories. Everything is presented on social media. Once again, I'm getting into the social media already. Everyone is presenting themselves of the idyllic version of themselves on social media. There's no more mystique is the word I was looking for before.
And I've said this before in podcasts too. And that's a blessing and a curse, I think, because for me, that mystique is what made me want to play.
Yeah, it's like, where are these people? Who are where does this come from?
Fucking bigger than life, and they're that whole.
And then you see them at a show, and you're like, I'm younger than you guys, but my experience of that was Slipknot's first record. I got it. I think it was early December 1999, I want to say, and I only had the CD, and they came to Montreal a week later, and I had seen no music videos. I had seen pictures, I guess, in magazines. That's it. But and then they came out on stage, and I was like terrified and impressed of these 9 individuals that are just destroying everything, and you're like, they're obviously crazy people.
Right.
I could never be there. I could never do that.
That's the power of that. The weird thing with when you talk about Slipknot is they're from Iowa. They're just from like right whip a rock and hit them. So back in early 90s, we played shows with a lot of their other bands and stuff like that before Slipknot came in with like Joey and I don't remember.
Paul Gray.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Their other band, I can't remember what it was called, but we played with them at Minneapolis Metalfest 1 or 2 times.
Very cool.
I mean, he was always a killer drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I remember seeing his band and it was like, well, the drummer's good, but
he'll go somewhere.
Something will happen.
Sometimes that happens. And you're like, that guy will be somewhere someday.
Yeah. And I remember, for mine, and then we'll jump to you, Jay, but my first thing like that, and I had seen obviously multiple shows but I seen Morbid Angel at 7th Street Entry on, that would have been Covenant, I believe. And it was like, as soon as they came out, it was Morbid Angel, Entombed, Unleashed, and
Both her?
No, I wish. But when Morbid they came out, there was so much, Fog Machine and whatever. And Vincent came out and put his foot up on the monitor and it was just like, fuck. You're just crushed, like there's no bigger iconic symbol. And just that from that moment, I was like, I got to do that, and I think it's still there, but it's definitely not like it used to be, when you knew nothing about you other than that 45 minutes of what you're doing,
Exactly.
So what was yours?
My what?
Your like when you seen that first metal musician where you're like,
well, I mean, I'm from small town Iowa, so the first metal album, death metal album I heard was Obituary Cause of Death in 1990, when that came out. And then I think Spiritual Healing is right behind it. But I kind of have the same as far as one of my most early death metal shows was also Morbid Angel. And just the power that they portrayed live and the power of his vocals to me just like rattled the entire venue. And some of those vocalists are what stand out to me, like seeing Rob Halford live or something like that. They're just, they have those voices that just rattle an entire club.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm curious, you being a Canadian from Quebec and stuff, wondering what year, heavy metal journey was, being from Canada, is it similar to somebody like us in the States? Obviously your core Canadian type bands, did you first get into those Canadian type bands, whether it be Razor Exciter or stuff like that or
it wasn't necessarily that way. I was, we're nipping at the American culture all the time in high school and stuff. So I grew up in the 90s, I graduated in the year 2000. So I'm a new metal child. I grew up listening to rock and some metal, Black Album, Metallica metal with my dad in the car. That's where I discovered that I wanted to sing. He convinced me that I had a voice. And just grew from that, like he listened to a lot of Journey, Steve Perry, one of the best, obviously, Boston, Bon Jovi, Bryan Adams, there's a Canadian. But quickly, very, very quickly, as I was growing older and like in high school, I dove deep into nu metal because it was so different from what my dad was listening to. My dad had the guitar solos, and nu metal had none of that.
Just raw.
So for a long, long time, I associated any music that had guitar solos, even Pearl Jam and stuff like that, to being super old music. Even though that wasn't the case. I just didn't know that. Okay. So probably my first big, big love outside of my dad's influence was like Tool. Marilyn Manson was a big thing. We were in high school and we were like a group of 10 dudes, some girls too, that were like on the outskirts of being the cool kids. We were not the cool kids.
Right.
But we liked, and Marilyn Manson spoke to that generation. So we ate it up and we liked the imagery. We liked the weirdness of it. I liked that it still made me feel scared.
Sure.
Because it was creepy.
A lot of imagery. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the songs were good. Antichrist Superstar is still one of my top 10 albums to this day that I'll go back and listen to and I raged just as hard as I did when I was 16 when I listened to it. So, and then like Incubus at the same time, and Tool, clean vocals. I wanted to be a clean vocalist. I wanted to sing like Tool. I wanted to be like Maynard. And I got singing lessons at a very, very young age from my aunt. I think I was in middle of high school. Once I was doing the band thing, she was like, you got a nice voice. You got to protect your voice. And the singing teacher was like, you should sing for Broadway. You should sing for Cirque du Soleil.
How life would be different.
That was her plan. She wanted, because I'm from Montreal. Cirque
Yeah.
du Soleil is from Montreal, or was at the time. And she had connections there. She had like plans to get me to sing for Cirque du Soleil. And I was like, I just want to do this band thing. And I'm just using this knowledge that you're giving me just to protect my voice.
Right.
And I didn't listen to her, and I took lessons, and then I stepped away. So sorry, Zian, that I never sang for Cirque du Soleil. But I wouldn't be in Sioux Falls right now.
Right.
But then it just kept getting heavier and heavier. Every band I was in, they started experimenting with more extreme sounds. The most death metal thing, I went out and I bought records like I used to, and I bought Kill from Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I did, but it's the most simple album cover that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason I was like, this is cool. And I bought it, and I went home and I listened to it, and I was like, holy fuck, his voice is incredible. The way that he pronounces each word and bites into it with that low, nasty guttural, it really spoke to me. So I started working more and more on gutturals at that point. At this point, I was in 3 Mile Scream, which is my first Montreal-based metal band before Cryptopsy. A shout out to Mike Marino for taking me out of Two Mountains and putting me into a Montreal metal band. And then it just kept evolving and evolving until we were doing death metal vocals and clean choruses. And then I recorded with Donaldson, and he showed it to Flo, and here we are.
Right.
20 years later.
And I heard you said no.
I did say no the first time because Mike Marino was still in the band.
Sure.
And we had signed a record deal to a subsidiary, I think that's the right word, of Universal. I can't remember the record company name. Shout out to Tom, if he's watching, for picking up 3 Mile back in the day. And Flo hit me up and he's like, I want you to try out. I want you to be in the band. I've listened to your latest album that Chris did. You have an incredible voice. I want to do something different and experimental on this next Cryptopsy record. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, 3 Mile, we're about to make it. I got like, we're doing stuff. There's tours happening. I can't do it. I'm going to say no. But then a week or a month later, the leader of 3 Mile quit. And I hung up the phone with him, and I picked the phone back up, and I called Flo back. And I was like, so did you find someone yet? Right. And they hadn't. So luckily I didn't throw away an opportunity completely.
Right. Well, good. And it's one of those things, and I've heard, a few stories like that from other guys too, where, the opportunity was there and things didn't line up, but then down the road, it's like it was meant to be. I
had to go watch them play because we ended up opening for Cryptopsy after they asked me.
Yeah. Funny.
And I watched them and I was like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah.
There's a lot of talent, man. A lot
of
talent
in that band. Yeah.
I mean,
throughout the whole career, it's, some might say unparalleled.
Yeah.
Players have stepped through the door of the Cryptopsy bandmates.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump on something with Cryptopsy here that in listening to the new album, check me if I'm right or wrong, but it feels like you're kind of paying homage to more Cryptopsy roots.
Absolutely. This is our whole mandate, is that we want to honor the legacy of Cryptopsy,
right,
while still being relevant in 2025's musical scape.
Like a little more groove, a little more.
We consciously tried to write a groovy record.
Right.
That was our main goal when we were composing everything. And we wrote the majority of the record on tour, which is something we've never done before.
Wow. Yeah.
Which we should be doing tomorrow. I got to poke them through to make them. Because we all live in the Montreal area, but we don't live close to each other. So if we're going to be spending so much time together, which we do on tour, and we have days off, we
be
may as well
productive.
sit together for 2-3 hours and put some riffs together.
Mm-hmm.
But we did put an insane deadline for the last one. I challenged the band and we challenged ourselves to release a record within 2 years of As Gomorrah Burns.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a lot of my friends achieve great success by doing that. Cattle Decapitation,
Right.
Aborted,
Mm-hmm.
just like smartly dropping records, consistent, great quality records, obviously, within a 2-year span, and you watch the band grow. So it's a challenge that I gave the guys, and the only way that we can accomplish it was by writing on the road. And when you're writing on the road, it's interesting because you literally just played a show the night before,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, what worked yesterday? What is something that is a fail safe that no matter where we are on the globe, do kids move?
Right.
And it was groove. And we needed to bring more groove. We're trying to grow as a band. We're trying to capture new ears right away. Like, yes, like they're going to be like, oh my God, they're extreme. But is there something there for them to bite their teeth into that
Exactly.
they can eat and digest that night and come back and go home and be like, oh, that song, that part. I think that it was hard with what we were doing before this record.
Well, it's hard when you're super talented and super technical to incorporate catch at the same time. You know, it's a whole nother talent
It's just
set, really.
Strong songwriting. Chris and Flo and Ollie are very good songwriters, and they've matured as people do. So we really, really pushed to have like little winks, Easter eggs,
Right.
from previous Cryptopsy records on this. Lots of groove, more melody, catchy parts, repeating sections for longer, and a dirty darkness.
Yeah, I think it's a great move for you guys, really. And I'll say for two reasons, like more analytical reasons that people may absorb without consciously thinking about it, right? So there's all of the milestone bands from the 90s that basically built the foundation for what extreme music sits on. And some of those bands have deviated pretty far from where they started.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that people always gravitate to are the things that built the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So finding a way to keep your roots
while spicing it up a bit and
correct. Staying true to the legacy that is, for in your case, Cryptopsy. It
was scary. It's always scary to create new music, and we were like, we made a groovy record, and then Flo went in and tracked his drums, and they were like, this is the most extreme shit we've ever done. There's no groove. What did we do? We failed. And then I tracked vocals, and the groove came back, and then we were like, okay, we did it. It's okay. Right. And then Chris is always like self-doubting. And he's like, is this even good? Because we did everything so condensed. We wrote most of the record from September in 2 months, basically 2.5 months. Wow. And Chris came home after the hotel room writing sessions, and he was like, oh my God, that riff is also in that song, but a little bit different, you know? So we had to go and like rewrite and tweak stuff. And we're constantly trying to be relevant in it while being a legacy band. It's a hard challenge to not just... Cryptopsy never rested on their laurels. Cryptopsy could have just redone None So Vile over and over again, like other very big legacy death metal bands do. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that. They went and got Mike DeSalvo. They dropped Whisper Supremacy, which was far more insane and far more technical and much less groovy. And they're just constantly evolving as a band. So it's something that we like to do. And we think it's important as us as musicians growing to have all these new colors come in, this new dirty malaise, uncomfortableness that we've dragged into the new record. A lot of the songs, like Malicious Needs is a great example of that. Is this weird, dirty hangover feeling is what we want to drag into death metal. It's like this extra little spice that we've been throwing in, right? Which I think is resonating with a lot of the fans. So we're probably going to continue in that direction, but definitely no black metal. A lot of bands have already done that. Yep. And anytime when we were writing for this record, if there was any little tinges of black metal that hinted its way into the writing sessions, it would get scrapped immediately.
Yeah.
Well,
it's interesting, you know, and again, when you look to step back on your comment about releasing an album in quick fashion, which quick fashion is a couple years at this point.
Yeah.
Because modern times is all about relevancy right now. And I'm sure you guys have gone through
people's
these.
attention span are so goddamn short right now. My attention span is short.
Right. So
my favorite record this month will be forgotten in 2 months.
Right. And there's bands that are straying away from releasing full length albums even. And they're releasing EPs, singles or compound singles or whatever. And we've actually talked to our label about that. And he's like, what do you think? It's like, I think I'm just too old for that shit. To me, that's like...
It's a lot of work just to write 4 songs. You might as well write 8 songs.
Exactly.
Because we did try that in the 2010s when we went independent. We wanted to drop music quicker through EPs independently. It didn't work. It was just the same amount of work putting together a 4-song EP as it is.
More expensive in the end.
Yes. Luckily, Chris is in our band and he records and does everything. But
for production wise, you're lucky. But even releasing material,
exactly,
it's not cheaper just because there's less shit on the vinyl.
Yeah, and nobody wants to necessarily buy an EP. So
yeah. I know when we've thought about it a few times, and every time we start to do it, we just end up putting out a full length. We're just like, fuck it. We're already here. Let's just fucking do this.
Let's just keep writing.
Yeah. So, few big things that happened in the last short term for you. Obviously the Saudi Arabia thing's big. And from an outsider perspective, from someone who's never been anywhere remotely close to there, seems if you're coming in with a band that topically hits what you hit on, aggressionly does what you do, maybe a bit scary.
Well, we're sort of like stupid. I got we always get like the routing of where we're going to go, and it was there and we were like, oh, that's interesting. And I hadn't realized how big of a thing it was until I did a live stream with the promoter, Gigi from Heavy Arabia. She's amazing. Shout out to her. And one of the other local bands that was playing there, we did like this Instagram live thing, and she was like, "You're the first." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I got off the live stream and I wrote the guys, and I was like, "This is like going to be crazy."
Right.
And it was very interesting. They had like given us like a list of things we couldn't do or say.
Shame on you. Yeah.
Can't spit on the floor. You can't. The guys like with their tattoos were supposed to be covered, but they weren't that
interesting
on that. They weren't. No one was checking them on that. The religious police has been sort of out for a bunch of years over there. So they definitely want to become a Las Vegas type destination.
Right.
So,
right. So, and when they give you the list of no-nos, did they give you a list of consequences with the no-nos?
I think there was a financial thing attached to it, but I can't remember. But it was like if you spit on the floor, I think it was like $200 or something.
Really? Because you just hear all these and it's not even hearing them because we've been witness to them, from Randy and his situation.
Oh, that was crazy.
To where it's like, man, you don't know what the fuck.
No, you have no idea what exactly. Yeah. Ever since that Randy thing, I never touch anyone on stage.
Yeah. And which is crazy because instinctually,
you
your self-defense code comes in. I mean, there's been people who have been killed. And
exactly.
I don't know. I even in small towns, I get that way where someone jumps up. You get your eyes closed, and you're in your moment, and you open up, and there's
like,
people,
who's this guy?
Yeah. So that's scary.
No, but it was a very, very unique experience to stand. It wasn't the biggest show. It was a show. It was okay. There was like 100, 150 people. They were really into it. I wasn't allowed to ask them to mosh. They still moshed. I wasn't allowed to swear. They were still, metal crowds are the same everywhere. It's
right.
really interesting.
Right.
Even Saudi Arabia, they still know how to circle pit.
It is crazy how, now the world is so small in that perspective. It's obviously a big place, but we're so connected with everything that everybody is the same.
But I had no idea that it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that it was a big deal, I was like, okay, let's use this.
Yeah.
So I created a quote of the band's perspective of the experience. I got the promoter to give me a quote. I got the promoter to get me a photographer to give me pictures from that night. And then I sent all that to Frank for Metal Injection.
There you go.
And then Frank put it everywhere.
Good. And hopefully, that type of effort on your side too opens up that culture a little bit more to realizing like we're not all going to die if this happens.
No. And a lot, she's been hit up by so many bands now.
Good.
Gigi, I'm talking about the promoter. So many bands have been wanting to go there since they saw us over there. So
good. That's good. Obviously they want it.
It's just, it was very nice to have that tagline on Metal Sucks.
Right.
Cryptopsy beats Metallica or something like that.
Beat him to the punch.
Like when else are you ever going to see that? So, thank you, Frank, for making it happen.
Awesome. You guys, something you want to jump in with?
I was curious, what is Matt McGachy's favorite Cryptopsy album without you on vocals, and why?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. When I first joined the band, I didn't understand or speak Lord Worm.
Okay.
His dialect was still foreign to me.
He speaks in cursive.
I don't know what he speaks in. But, so when I initially joined the band, I would have said like Whisper Supremacy because I understood, and it was a lot more easier for me to understand what I'm supposed to be doing up there. Now that I speak fluent Lord Warden, and I do see that the lyrics are there. Because when I first joined, I was like, he's not saying any of these words. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Right.
None So Vile. None So Vile is my favorite record. It's like 5 out of 8, 6 out of 8 are flawless songs that I've played in countless set lists. Throughout my whole career, there's been at least 5 None So Vile songs in most set lists. So that is something that we're shying away from at this exact moment. Maybe not next year because it's the 30th anniversary, but
maybe it's good that you do this year then.
Maybe it's good that
you do this year and save it for next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Feed it to them when it's an anniversary year.
Exactly.
I got a Flo related question.
Go for it.
So I guess obviously he's a legacy member, founding member. Being a non-drummer, being a guitar player, I still, I think, and as a writer of my own music, I think in terms of drumming and I understand it, but I'm not a drummer. So I don't think there's anybody that plays like Flo in his stylings. They're just
not the intensity.
He's got that, single foot kind of traditional thrash beat that is just. Obviously he can do anything.
We call it the 2-pack.
Yeah,
that's what we call it.
Yeah, there's just
we got a fast 2-pack too.
Fast 2-pack. I find that drummers have names for their beats.
That's exactly how we write riffs, and there's like certain beats that like, oh, that's a grind, oh, that's a blast, oh, that's a 2-pack, oh, that's a fast 2-pack.
That's so great.
Or a skank or whatever it is,
But no, he's one of the best in the world, and he takes it so seriously, the physicality of it. And he's like, oh, my legs are a bit sore tonight. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do lunges. I'm gonna crush my legs tomorrow. And then he ices it. He's like an Olympic athlete.
What is one thing about him that most people wouldn't know, or would be something that would be
embarrassing?
Or
no,
like wow. Anything you can think of?
No, he's pretty out there. He likes to wear thermal shirts when it's really hot outside.
Okay.
Long sleeve thermal shirts when it's hot outside. He likes to suffer. So I guess that's the secret.
Yeah.
Which is why he's been doing death metal for over 30 years.
Right.
I couldn't help but notice, I was looking some stuff up and I saw that your mom did an interview with Decibel.
Yeah, it was cool. The Metal Mothers.
Yeah.
That's great.
I come from a family where my family is super supportive.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you talked about your
very
dad.
Much. I was very lucky.
Earlier.
Yeah. Well, I grew up, my room, and my teenage room was the jam room.
Okay.
So parents like that will, let a bunch of kids crawl into their basement and make loud noise.
That was my parents too for years.
For hours and hours and not complain ever.
See, I don't know if my parents are more supportive or just tolerant.
Yes.
Because there's a big fucking difference. And I think my parents were just like, well, he's not out breaking the law.
Exactly. So, I wouldn't say necessarily that my parents were or are fans of Cryptopsy.
Right.
They're proud of everything that's happened, obviously. The Juno definitely helped. I'm happy my dad
Congratulations on that, by the way.
I'm happy my dad was still around when we won the Juno. He really took that to heart.
So on the Juno thing, that is rad. So super congrats on that.
Thank you.
Because it, it seems like every other country, not every other country, but a good handful of countries kind of have it figured out. Like you do need to pay attention to these
extreme metal. Yeah.
And the amount of talent that
the musicality
is inside of those circles. And America just sucks when it comes to that.
They have a metal
They're
category.
Terrible. And, you look
it's Mastodon or,
it's like you guys got Juno, the Grammis in Sweden, and the DMA for the Danish. Like everyone has these things, and like great bands are winning these in extreme areas, and then America has turned out a ton of the pillar bands, and like our country still just snows. It's just kind of crazy. So it's good that you guys are actually
go Canada for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe we should follow Canada or something. Yeah, that's great. So congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
So one thing we talked about on the drive over here that I wanted to touch on is the popularity of extreme music as a whole. Okay. You've been in Cryptopsy long enough to see the hills and valleys that come with this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when Jason and I got involved in stuff in the very early, like late 80s, early 90s, the hill became a mountain. I mean, it became an explosion that kind of engulfed the whole world with extreme music. And then it was maybe, half a dozen years later, we get into 97, 98, and it is a ghost town, and everything's like crickets.
New metal is everywhere.
Yep. And then now through this podcast and being able to talk to bands that are, and musicians that are on the road and stuff, they're like, it's bigger than ever. Like,
it's interesting. The most beautiful thing that I've been noticing, which is the major difference, is there's these groups of young, mostly male, but there are some females or other genre people that come to the shows, but they're all 15 and 16 years old.
That's great.
And there's like 10 to 20 of them, and there's like these little cliques.
Would you have to have that?
Which 5 years ago they were not there.
Right.
There
Which was
no
scary
kids.
as shit, because I remember having
it was just a bunch of older people enjoying Cryptopsy and other extreme metal bands.
I thought, like, man, we got like 5 years left.
Yeah.
And this genre is gonna.
But now there's these kids that show up. They're wearing None So Vile shirts or Blasphemy Made Flesh shirts, and they know all the words. And I'm talking about here in the United States. I'm talking about in Denmark. I'm talking about in Germany. Everywhere I've been recently, there's a bunch of kids coming to shows.
That's great.
And it's really exciting.
So when you're talking U.S., we're talking coastal.
There was some kids last night too.
Yeah.
In Belvedere, Illinois.
It just hasn't.
And then like kids like party different than we do, right? Because we're old, so they have much more energy. And then they do weird things in the pit. We had kids dancing the Macarena. To Nile.
Oh my God.
To Nile in the pit, like 15, 20 of them.
That's crazy.
Doing like fast Macarena, like trying to keep up with George.
Can't help but laugh.
Right.
And then last night there was kids doing leapfrog. So all these kids are coming and they're bringing like this new
youthful,
cultured energy
and I remember
the mosh pit. Yes.
When we were kids, we'd do dumb shit, and it's just.
And I was watching last night and there was like 2-3 kids that were far, maybe it's the wrong word. They were, I was going to say preppy, but maybe it's the wrong word. They were like clean cut kids. They didn't look like metalheads, but they were moshing and partying, having a lot of fun with a fully decked out metalhead teenager. So in my mind, I was like watching it happen. I was like, in school, would these people get along? And probably not,
right? Because
their social circles probably dictate that they're not supposed to be friends. But in a mosh pit, everyone gets along. I think it's really interesting.
Right. Well, hopefully, it's one of those things. I remember, 14, 13 years old, going to the first, at that time it's your punk shows and whatever back here, and getting that eye-opening experience. And it has to happen the first time for everybody. When you go there and you realize, like, holy shit.
This is a community.
This is where I need to be. That it isn't anything of what you thought it was. And
it's not as weird and scary.
And it's everything that you need.
Yeah.
So, which is great to hear because like I said, I know we've had this conversation within our band many times, like, in the past dozen years, is like, if we don't start seeing younger two things you have to have
younger fans and
younger
girls.
fans and younger musicians.
I thought you were going to say girls.
Well, that too. but younger musicians, you know, I mean, as you, I'm sure you see that too.
Yeah.
Like when you're traveling, it's like, it's a van full of 50-year-olds, you know.
That is also something that's been happening that I've realized. It also applies to my day job, which we can transition to afterwards, is like, I am becoming one of the older people on tour now, which is something that's interesting to me because I still feel young. But half the touring,
you're 37.
Half the touring package is like 24 years old, you know,
Damn,
which is how old I was when I started doing with Cryptopsy. But there's this like different perception of people look at you as an older person and treat you differently. So that's happening a bit more on tour recently,
which is good, man. I mean, God, getting some young blood in is just
a lot of great young, you know, Sango Sukabog is doing a great job for.
I still can't pronounce that.
It's extreme death metal. They're doing a great job dragging in a whole bunch of young kids, and I thank them for that.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, you know, I just interviewed Pierce Williams. Yeah.
Pierce Williams.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, you know, like that dude's only been in the game for a handful of years, you know, and just happened to jump into skeletal super young, you know, and it's like, it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, he's really only been touring for 4 or 5 years, you know, so
you gotta enjoy it.
And the dude's fucking killer.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting that.
There's this young, also this, like, all these young musicians have the world at their fingertips on YouTube, all these tutorials. It's not like when we were growing up discovering how to do these things. You had to see, you know, the players play and be like, oh, that's how they make that sound. You had to see David Vincent go up and just crush and be like, oh, that's it. And then you try it at home and it still doesn't work.
Right. But it takes you 10 years.
Exactly.
So let's jump before we lose it. Your job.
Yes, I work I'm an early childhood educator. So
I
exactly the same year in 2007, I graduated my early childhood education degree and I joined Cryptopsy all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And I've been working with young children typically. I tend to work with 4 or 5-year-olds is my favorite group. Maybe 3-4-year-olds are my favorite age group to work with. They're still curious. They're still very imaginative and they believe everything, which makes dad jokes be just wonderfully wonderful.
Gives you so much power.
That's it. Yes. And like, as I was saying, like, as I've gotten older in that career as well, I'm now older than most of the parents that are coming to drop off their kids for me to take care of them. Oh, yeah. And they seem to just respect me more as opposed to when I was like a 20-year-old kid and they were like, here's my baby. And I was
don't hurt it.
So how do you make both worlds work?
I am very lucky that I worked at the same place the whole time and they respect the artist lifestyle. I also, however, since the pandemic and once the pandemic hit, I went and I worked full time. Prior to that, I was just doing a few hours each day so that I could leave and go on tour. And there's no issue. Pandemic hit, I took on a classroom. I did that for a bunch of years. Once the band started getting busy again, I was like, look, I'm only going to work this many hours a week. And then every year it just becomes less and less.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask, as Gomorrah Burns was on Nuclear Blast, right? And Insatiable Violence is on Season of Mist. What I kind of got out of that, it was kind of Flo's with Ultimus kind of pushed the Season of Mist that direction a little bit.
No, it was more, and I don't want to throw shade at Nuclear Blast right now, but maybe I will. We signed a 1-album deal to Nuclear Blast. We wrote them saying that we wanted to continue our experience with them, our relationship with them. We enjoyed our experience with them. Shout out to Charles from Abysmal Dawn who signed us. And we wanted to offer our back catalog to them as a licensing deal to really solidify the relationship.
Right.
Do the rest of our records with them, finish in one place. That's what we wanted. Negotiations, which were not negotiations, it was a one-side conversation about the back catalog, did not go favorably. So we were respectfully told them that we would keep our back catalog, but we would hit them up when we wanted to do a new record. When we did hit them up about the new record, we were told that they no longer were interested in us without the back catalog being involved. So Flo saw that as a great opportunity to contact Michael from Season of Mist,
Right.
whom he was working with for Ultimas. You are correct. And I think it was within a month, within 2 months, we had signed a deal. A very, very artist favorable deal,
Good.
especially on the streaming for the back catalog. They didn't take any of it.
Wow. Because, with that statement, and I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I'm going to, is that mentality towards continuing a relationship with you seems like an incredible jab at what you're capable of doing upcoming, as in your best shit's behind you type of thing.
It sort of seemed that way there. Nuclear Blast is owned by Believe. I believe that I'm right on that, which is basically Sony. They're a digital company.
Mm-hmm.
We're a band that tours relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hit up my record company, I go, hey, I want to order 200 vinyl. And they go, oh, we only got 67 in the whole country. And I'm like, what do you mean? We only got 67 units of Asgamora Burns vinyls. It's like, did you sell them all? Or am I rich? Like, where are they? Did you print 75? Like, they're a digital company. They don't believe in physical products. We need vinyls. You'll go to merch tonight. You'll see that Season of Mist still believes in physical products.
That's good.
And it's important for fans to be able to walk up to a merch booth after a show and meet me and meet Flo, and then say thank you so much and be able to walk away with a physical product.
I couldn't agree more.
Man, I agree with you. Holy crap.
Boggles my fucking mind to no end when you go to shows and bands don't have them.
It's because their labels don't have them is the problem.
Yeah.
It's just I couldn't deal with that.
I was with Gordon from Seasons the other day, and he's like, they're in the 3rd or 4th repressing of Done So Vile already.
Excellent.
And it's been since May?
That's great.
Yeah.
But it's just that thing it's that disconnect, I think, with labels to what this genre really is. And it's
okay. And like, there's no shade to Nuclear Blast. They really did take good care of us when we were there. We would have continued with them, but we were not on the same page.
But for them to be, Nuclear Blast in general being so metal centric, you have to understand, and how you can't, I don't get it, is that this genre as a whole, like every subset of this genre, is unique in so many facets when it comes to the scene itself, right? We're the only scene that continually and repeatedly functions independently of everything else that happens in music, right?
Correct.
So the scene itself is what keeps it functioning. Those kids keep it alive. And what do those kids want? They want to walk out of shows with something in their hand that says, oh, I bought this right from Matt himself.
Because Matt was right there.
You know, and to not connect with that factor blows my fucking mind.
And vinyls are beautiful. And
and now that physical format is finally making a resurgence again.
Oh, yeah. And CDs, too. I was like, do I order CDs for this tour? And Chris, my guitarist, was like, no, he's like, I don't even have a CD. I was like, okay, let me go look at what we've sold over the past few years. And I was like, we got to order CD. And we had to reorder again. Like, we sold them all within the first week.
Good. That's a great sign.
I saw a reference to two things that were kind of like, I was confused on how I read it. It was like, it referenced Cryptopsy's final chapter, but it also referenced, once you guys got to Season of Mist, of like a 5 or 6 year plan.
We have a 10-year plan that is always a 10-year plan.
So what's the future in Cryptopsy?
It's Flo. As long as Flo is playing at the highest level that he needs to be at, we're going to continue. The rest of us are built to do this for a long time. He's taking very good physical care of himself. And as long as he can, I always compare him to an Olympic athlete. Mm-hmm. There comes a time sometimes when you're an Olympic athlete that you just no longer can perform in the Olympics. It's just the way it is. The body can only do so much.
So how old is Flo?
He's 51.
51.
No.
So he's our age.
Yeah.
He's got miles on him yet.
He's doing great. So yes, we're gonna do a new record. First next year is the 30th anniversary of None So Vile. We got to celebrate that a little bit. We're gonna drop a new record. We're gonna tour. We're gonna grow. We're gonna build, and That's it. We got to step back into the headliner shoes.
I mean, it seems like from an outsider's perspective, like Flo is in his prime.
It's really interesting.
I mean, the last 5 years for him have been
because he's taking care of himself. I'm sure
he really is. He's the physicality of it is monstrous.
Yeah. You want to touch on Vox and Hops a little bit? I know that's kind of on hiatus. I understand
it is on hiatus. It's been since June that I've no longer run a podcast that takes a lot of my time. I honestly haven't missed it yet.
It's a labor of love.
It is. I gained a million amazing things from running a podcast for 7 years. Vox and Hops is my podcast that I still have. It's on hiatus right now. I would sit down with fellow metal musicians, talk about their lives and music while drinking craft beers. And I released 500 episodes,
which is crazy,
over 7 years. And it was about like last summer that we were out with Death to All. And I remember being with Chad, my merch guy, and being like, I think I want to stop. I think I don't like this anymore. And it wasn't like the conversations. It wasn't. It was the work behind it and
exactly
the mental load that comes with running things and having to edit on tour and find Wi-Fi that worked. And it was just annoying. And I don't want to be annoyed with stuff. And the band is so busy that I saw episode 500 coming up and I was like, this is an opportunity. You did good. You can take a break. But if I ever do come back, and I want to come back like this, face to face with the studio.
Right. It's a big difference. It really is. You know, that's the one thing that I wish, you know, I'm so isolated being here in South Dakota in Sioux Falls that it's hard because the face to face is definitely, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. It's a way better conversation every time.
Every time. And, you know, it's all the way down to the technical problems you have with call-ins and
you know that I've gotten around that,
you know, and it's all the annoying shit that happens or the even like and it boils down to basically just the personality separation when you're on a TV screen compared to sitting here and talking to you. Like we can sit here and talk for probably 5 hours if we have the time.
We wouldn't even know.
Yeah. So that's the beauty.
They'd be like, "Where's Matt?
Show's over." So
he's got to load out their stuff.
But I agree. And if I could do this type of thing,
this is my goal. I would like
a week, it would be
to come back and do what you're doing, do what Garza's doing.
Yeah.
And no longer do the publicist thing. I love the publicist. Thank you, every publicist that sent me any guests. But having that like pressure of having to promote something versus just sitting and having a conversation with someone, drinking a beer, talking about beer the way that I used to do it when I started. I got too far off the path.
This is gratifying. You know, like I could do this all day long.
So do you figure that did you ever figure out the algorithm since you handle a lot of the socials for obviously Vox?
Oh, no, definitely not. No. I shoot.
Is there a secret behind that?
No, I'm shooting into the wild and hoping that I hit a partridge.
I think there is a little bit of a secret to it, but I just don't, I mean, I don't know for what we do that there's a way to crack. I mean, Garza's done really well for himself.
He's doing fantastic.
Yeah. But a lot of that, again, is I'm going to attest that it's in person. You get those in-person conversations and you get people to be comfortable with you, to relax with you.
It was amazing. Like for me to watch that episode that Garza did with Vogue from Decapitated before me going and living on a bus with Vogue was amazing. Because he was mythical. He was one of those mythical, one of the last very private people on the internet about his life.
Right.
And then you saw him there and he just like opened like a flower. It was amazing. I told him the first night that we were on the bus together, I was like, that's the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah.
He's like, I think I've done other better things in my life. But I was like, no, that was it.
That was it. Yeah. And then Garza's been lucky to have a few of those people that just really
just open up. Yeah.
And it is the beauty of face-to-face conversation. And I think that is what podcasting ultimately is all about. Is just,
but the Vox and Hops will come back, I think. Just I need some time to.
When you're right.
Yeah. Or like you know, Knotfest can hire me to do stuff or Banger. Or I'm open to doing stuff, people.
We'll leave his contact information.
Yeah. Lamb Goat also offered me too. It's true. He did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and and that's probably what you need is just something that reinvigorates that feeling a little bit.
There was a little moment like after last summer there when I was telling my merch Chad that I wanted to stop, and then I had a chat with Carl Sanders, funnily enough, and that made me feel good. And that like gave me a bit of fuel for a while, but it's not the interviews that was the issue. I guess I just need to hire someone to edit for me and do everything.
Editing sucks.
Yeah, I got really good at it, but yeah.
Well, I've been doing it for quite a while and stuff, but it's just the time that it takes to sit there. And
every episode takes 7 hours.
Really, I would
from hey, do you want to be on my podcast to the final social media post? 7 hours.
Yeah, for me, it's like. I would say the way I look at it is if I have a podcast and it's 45 minutes long, it takes me 3 times as long as whatever that length is. But every podcast goes like 2 to 3 hours, it seems like.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I'm 9 hours deep into notating and editing and whatever. And it's
all for you people. I hope you enjoy it.
You're just like,
you get a format. It ends up like being,
Yep. So I enjoy it. And I enjoy the fact too, that it is connecting with people. I think there's, I remember, I interviewed Gus Rios and he was like, he's like, I really appreciate all the effort, but it's all for nothing because nobody gives a shit. It's like, people do give a shit. They really do.
The people that are listening I interviewed the Pure Pleasure podcast, Dewey, and he had said this thing to me that it was so resonating about podcasting was just imagine you open your back door and there's this many people that are sitting there watching this conversation.
Right.
And they've really changed my perspective of downloads and views.
Like and that's a great way to put it. Cause even if you're sitting and there's 10 people watching,
it's still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
10 people give a shit about what I got to say.
And again, I know we had this conversation, like the beauty of it is like, we talk a little bit about tour. We talk a little bit about the new record. But like this podcast isn't about that. It's like I want people to walk out of here and be like, oh, that's a little bit into Matt. Like I kind of get his personality and what he is as a person, and to kind of deconstruct.
I'm the nice death metal vocalist. That's my new brand.
Tell us a little bit about your family.
Grew up in a small town outside of Montreal in a small English community, which is becoming smaller. It was called Two Mountains. Now
what's the population over here?
Oh, I don't even know. I guess I should know that, but I don't know it. It's not that big. It's not that small, but it's not that big either. Now it's called Deux Montagnes. There's no mountains there though. I don't know why they call it. And it's a small little city outside of Montreal where people that had a bit more money, mostly Anglophone people back in the day, went and bought like summer houses out there. Okay. And then it grew into a small community. My mom is great. I lost my dad in April.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Thank you. I actually dreamt last night that he was alive.
We all have something in common there.
Yeah. So. I literally had a dream last night that he was like alive, but now, and we were like, I was like, no, you're dead.
So when did your dad pass?
In April, just recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, no, I'm back. And I was like, no, you're not. You're dead. And then like I enjoyed my experience with him being there. And then like he just died again. And we were like, okay, well, he's dead again. It was a weird dream this morning. I have a sister who's also a very good singer, musical, works with young children. We're all as tight as we can be. I still have a grandfather who's going to be 100 soon.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
He had an appointment with a nutritionist for some new medicine that he's taking, and I would keep joking that she wants to interview him to see what he ate his whole life, so she can tell everyone else.
What did you do right?
What's the secret? But no, we have a small, little, chill, very zen life. I have 2 kids, which I don't necessarily talk about too much in real life. I have a wonderful wife. I'm very lucky to have a very strong family unit that supports us when I'm gone on tour, because I am home pretty much a lot when I'm at home. So I handle a lot of stuff. And when I'm gone, there is an absence. So I'm very grateful that I have everyone around to take care of the kids and help my wife. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is. When you talk about, I lost my dad 20 20 something, 22 years
I lost
ago.
mine in November of last year,
wow.
so I can relate, my friend.
Yeah. So it was when Jason lost his dad. It was, for us, it was like something. Well, I went through that. I know I went through it when I was younger, not young.
Yeah.
But I was in my 30s and just completely out of the blue. So there was no preparation. Not that you can really prepare.
No. The same thing with mine. It was just like that. Yeah.
But it's no matter how you shake it, it's the man who raised you and gave you, your guidelines of what it is to be a man.
I'm very, very lucky that I always felt very, very, he was proud of me.
Good.
So I didn't have to there's no void there.
Good.
That I never made him proud.
Right.
But I have found myself trying to find, I guess, approval from other older males in my life, which
it's funny that you say that, because I definitely feel that way, and maybe that's part of getting older too a little bit. But that this is going to sound corny as shit, but in that regard, where a lot of my industry that I work in, I deal with a lot of older guys too, and it's that same thing as not that I want approval, but I want to earn respect in that regard. Like I have become a good man, a good person, a good father.
I did find myself saying that a lot, like the month or 2 months after he died. I found myself saying that, like, you're a good man.
Yeah.
You're a good man.
Yeah. And it's, I think a lot of that is probably the shock of finality, when you start realizing like, okay, the guy that brought me into this world is no longer here. And, life is fucking short. And, where I've gotten, hitting 50 and turning over 50 is you start looking, sadly, and whether it's a good thing or bad thing, is I start looking at the end is closer than the beginning, so you kind of need to find that peace in yourself. Like, okay, my dad died not too far from where I'm at right now. I think he was maybe 6-7 years older than where I'm at. Okay. That's not,
I keep comparing to my dad. I was like, that person's older. This person.
Yeah. And it's like, fuck, man. Okay. Well, I need to find myself in a good spot, so I need to be a good dad. I need to be a good husband. I need to be a good friend. I need to be a mentor to those who maybe possibly view me as such, that it's those type of things where not a bad thing really. And I used to take it harsh upon myself in loss, thinking of it in those terms. And then I had a change of heart as I've gotten a little bit older to where, maybe that's just another gift my dad gave me by passing was, hey, you need to take responsibility. And it's not a bad thing to be that way, to feel like you have goals you have to accomplish. You have guidelines you need to stay true to and morals you need to die for.
It's true.
So it's like that type of gift, and finding that, when you say, that connection with your dad is still, it is, to me, it just gets stronger all the time, even though he's been gone for 20 years.
And I keep watching all these old movies that he used to love. I watched Bloodsport this morning too.
There you go.
And I was like, this is horrible, Dad. He loved that shit. But the whole time I was watching Bloodsport, I thought it was Kickboxer. I was waiting for that, like the glass there. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Are we going to hear clean vocals from you anytime soon?
I have a new project.
Uh-oh.
Not in Cryptopsy ever. No. We've no.
I wouldn't guess that, but you said you were trained.
Yeah.
Vocally. I'll say good. What's the new project?
It's a brand new thing that I can't talk too much about. It's with a bunch of great musicians actually that are all in other established bands. And
so obviously you've got a voice, but it's something you have to continually maintain and do. I would assume maybe I'm blowing.
I don't do that much, but
so because obviously you don't do it in Cryptopsy. So is it something you're still naturally able to do at this point?
I think I evolved over time. I had this other band called The Era Of, and we did like a show last December, and it took me some time to get back into those clean vocals to do that properly. Oh, I actually did like I always jam like at home before I go with the band, just in my house. And I did like a jam and I was like, this is horrible. This is really bad. And I was really worried I was going to cancel the show. But then I went to band practice and it was fine. So no, I do nothing. But the voice has just evolved over the years.
Sure.
I've had the most reassuring experience vocally 2 years ago. It's almost 2 years ago now. And I was in Europe on tour with Atheist, and we pulled into Rome, and my friend Enrico, who's the vocalist of Hideous Divinity, is also an ear, nose, and throat doctor. So he picked me up and brought me to his clinic and put a camera down my nose, checking out my vocal cords. And I performed Lascivious Undivine, and he was watching what my vocal cords were up to. And he was like, because he's like doing a research project study thing, so he's trying to get as many vocals as possible. Right. And he was just so impressed at how there's no damage, there's nothing. And I've been out on tour for probably as long as I am right now. And it was just the most reassuring thing ever. So yes, I was stressed leading into the clean vocal session that I had to do this past August for the new project. I'm always stressed leading into anything vocally, but it always ends up working, and it's easy.
Good.
It's what I have to tell myself all the time. It's easy. Like once I know it, and it's easy. It's just a matter of putting the breath at the right place.
Yeah, and I can kind of relate. I've got three different bands that I sing in, which are delivered three different ways. And every time we go in to start recording a new record for one of the other bands, I got to get over it. And every time I'm like, I totally fucking forgot how to do this. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's just remembering and getting retraining, because each delivery is so
different,
unique to that band that you just got to get back into those shoes again.
That's what I do. I always practice like leading up to a practice so that I show up and I'm prepared, which all musicians should do. Don't show up to a band practice not prepared, because then your other people are wasting their time.
Don't show up to anything unprepared.
Yes,
like I do all the time. That's how I perform in the studio. Though when we record, I'm so much better. Like on the spot, put me under the gun, and then I can perform.
Go.
If I got to sit here for 3 weeks and prepare for shit, I'm already like over it. I'm just like, so. And he's the opposite. He's got to like.
Uber prepared.
Oh yeah, which is good because he keeps me on track. It's like yin and yang.
I'm lucky I have Chris, but I recorded vocals for the new project with Chris too. So the way that always works is I'll send Chris like whisper track, scratch tracks of my ideas with the lyrics. He'll load them into the song, and then he'll sit there and listen to them with me, and he'll be like, "This is fucking horrible," and then he'll rewrite everything.
Here's your pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I learn the pattern on the spot.
You know, here's my philosophy on that is he's guitar player.
Guitar player, producer.
Yeah. So is you start thinking about vocals as another instrument as opposed to just a singer singing over.
That's exactly what he does.
So thinking, because that's how my brain works.
The musicality of it
is the delivery has a certain cadence that has to happen.
Very important. Yeah.
A certain articulation that has to happen. And it is another instrument. So it is in my opinion, greater than probably some of the instruments as far as remembrance, where you're sending people, you talked about it before, and I'm huge on this. We're huge on this, is every song should have a diamond. Somewhere, right?
Yeah,
so if you listen to a song and you don't remember shit about that song, I fucking blew it.
Yeah.
And I think a huge part of that is vocal patterning. So a lot of times, obviously in death metal, you're not fully sure what Matt just said, but you understand the pattern that just came in your face, and that pattern stuck with you. And that is just as critical as any riff or fill or anything like that. And I think that's huge.
I'm really lucky that I have him. And it was the same for this project. I sent him, I had like pre-prodded everything with the main dude in the band, showed up at Chris's house. And the big thing that we've been doing since As Gomorrah Burns, Insatiable Violence, this new project, is that I go and I live at Chris's house when I do vocals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's like we wake up in the morning, we drink coffee, I set the kids up, we go downstairs and we work until like 4 p.m. basically, doing 2 songs a day, where he just totally revamps everything. And he's a genius with the harmonies and stuff. For the new project, it was so it's like, it's melodic. There's a lot of clean vocals, but there's still a little bit harsh sounding because I've grown over time. Not as angelic.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear it. I mean,
it's cool. It's we're working on it.
You have to keep me in the loop.
Yeah.
So
we need to get you back to the club.
Yep, we do. It's getting there. So time's already flying.
Well, I've had a blast.
Well,
I'm almost finished my second beer,
which
so
is
it's perfect timing.
What do you got there?
Oh, what is this one? This is the Double Dry Hop Hazy India Pale Ale Metabolic Memories from Central Waters. Oh, I had one of those beers the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, in Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not know where they're from, but I would assume
They're
somewhere
very
there.
good, actually.
So, what do you got?
This other one is Wildness Alaskan Cold Beer, and on the bottom it says "Brewed where there's no roads in."
Oh,
So I guess I should
Scary
open that
cabin.
record.
I won't go. I won't go play there.
So we should overview. We got the show tonight here at Biggs in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yes,
And what does Sioux mean?
Sioux. Oh, Sioux in French. If we later tonight, we're all going to be a little bit Sioux, and that means we're going to be drunk.
Yay! I like it.
Drunk. We might fall.
We're from Drunk Falls,
We might fall into our bunks later.
which is fitting, I guess.
Nile,
We do-
Cryptopsy, Cognitive, and what was the fourth
The
one?
last 10 seconds of life.
Got it.
And plus tomorrow it's Roadie Friday. For people that don't know what Roadie Friday is, it means we have a day off tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip it out a little bit tonight. That's awesome. So I have the Freak Sour from Odell, which is just a straight sour, and I was actually pretty impressed with it. So
Nice. Odell's classic.
I am a sour fanatic. I mean, I can't get enough. So awesome, man. Well, we'll get you rolling back to there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
I've had a
pleasure.
blast. I've had a blast. I've had a blast. Thank you for bringing me into this beautiful little thing here.
Awesome, man. Well,
Thanks,
I appreciate it, and let's go check out the show.
Cheers.
Thanks, everybody.